All right. Yo, this is Jeff Carroll, Sci-Fi Express Lane. About to express myself. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you get something from it. Hope it makes you think. That's really all I ever want to do is think. Give me something different to think about other than the problems of the world today. So let me express myself. Sci-Fi Express Lane. Today, I wanted to talk about like the story come up. So I know we're writers, I know we're creators, filmmakers or whatever, but our IP, our intellectual property is our creation. So when we put it out there, part of our goal is for it to reach the next level. Now, we're not comedians, we're not performers, not singers, you know. Our come up is most likely through the success of one of our IPs. Bottom line, yo, he's the writer of whatever. He draws whatever. He created whatever. All right? Your name follows, your creation. Your creation paves the way 9 times out of 10, okay? That 9 times out of 10, that's how it goes. So the trail of your story's success or your IP, it could be a character, but it's really hard to create a character that takes off without an IP. But it can happen, but usually they like the character and they like the story that the character is in. It usually goes hand in hand, It's rarely just visuals, and even visuals are created to a certain extent with story in mind. But anyway, I want to just talk about the trail of story success. The stories come up. How do the stories come up? So let me go back. This is not a academic study, right? This is just qualitative, basic on my quality of life and things that I've experienced. It's not a quantitative study where I've done some numbers, crunched numbers, done some statistics and stuff like that. Nah, it's a straight qualitative. It is a form of study because, my perception is real, right? And who I am is real. So based on the things that I've noticed, there is the come up of, you put your story out there and it gets discovered by somebody. And it's rarely known by many people, but it gets picked up and made into a movie and it makes you some money, okay? That's a story come up. It wasn't out there. It wasn't selling a lot of books. It wasn't selling a lot of comics. So I met a gentleman who made the movie, his story was made into a movie because he didn't make the movie. He made a comic book. And his comic book was a story about people using robots to live their lives. And they sat inside while the robots ran around and did stuff. Now, there was one called Gamer. That's not his. His is called Surrogates. And you can check that out. The movie's pretty good. The story concept was like, he got that off, And his comic book barely came out, And this was before Kickstarter, so it was definitely independent created property. He paid for the illustration. He did all of that. And he got it out. I believe he was just the writer. I don't think he illustrated it. And it got picked up and made into a movie. That blow up is real deal. That's the story come up. I don't know if you envision yourself doing that, but wow, yeah, who's gonna stop that? You come out with a comic book, you sell 100 books, 50 books, and somebody is like, yo, I like it, and he's ready to take it to Hollywood. All right, and it comes up, and you get the money for the creation, you get story, all of that. Maybe you get invited to the writer's room or maybe they take your whole story, you know. That is an amazing come up. I don't know how to do that, right? I actually think there's no way to do it. It just happens to you if you are lucky, right? In the right place, maybe putting yourself out there. I'm not going to take away from the things that he did, but yo, that is it. And that's not the only story. There's, you know, people get picked up all the time. Celebrities and other people, producers, film people, you know, friends, family, they walk around, they read our books, you just happen to create, you know, something that gets in the right hands, and somebody that's connected, they feel a certain way about it. Wow, it is what it is. Then the other story come up, right, is the grind it out. The grind it out. You've been out there for a minute, you feel like your product is like you're the only one that believes in it. Maybe it sells, you know. I think of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, right? That sells ridiculous, you know. However, you know, I don't know when his offers started coming in, you know. I don't know when his offers started coming in. But I know he's got them now, but I think by now it's a no-brainer, you know. I really think it's a no-brainer because the product is all the way live, you know. I was reading about the story of Little Red Riding Hood. And Little Red Riding Hood, the dude was just in his house. He's telling his daughter a story. His wife was like, I love the way you tell stories to the daughter. The wife was sick. She couldn't, you know, do the stories herself, so he did them for her. The wife passed away, and he finished the story. And, you know, he would just keep tweaking it. He told people, he worked at a department store, I can't remember the name, and a big department store, like probably Macy's is now. And so it wasn't a little family store. And he said the story, read the story at a Christmas party. Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So he's reading this, and they love it. Stand ovation, right? And he continues to write it out, and they publish the book. This department store actually helps him out, publishes the book, gives copies to everybody. You know, this is our book, this is our story, whatever. It's a beautiful holiday story. Nothing still happens. His brother makes a song to go with it. Nothing still happens. A friend or wife or somebody believes in it, takes it to some singers and say, yo, can you record this, re-record it or whatever. Nah, everybody passes. Another singer is like, all right, gives it a shot. And these aren't probably small-time singers. So these was big-time singers at the time, right? Gets in the hand a big-time singer. You need a Christmas song. This is a Christmas song. Sang it. Blows it out the box. I think they even tweaked it again before they sang it. And before that final version, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer blows up. The song is phenomenal. Singing it for not thousands of years, right? And then somebody says, yo, let's make it into a movie. All from this little bedtime story. That is a lot of dedication, right? Now it's referred to in a lot of different formats. I think there's more than one incarnation of it. It's ridiculous, right? But that's a long story come up. For that story to come up, because, first of all, he didn't write it for profit. He was writing it for his daughter. So for the fact that it got picked up by the department store is amazing. And I don't even know if he really was career-minded to be a writer. He might have been an accidental writer, which hurts. But, there's people, it happens, It's not always something that you go to school for and you study and you learn hard to do. Sometimes you have other skills that allow you to get into creating and writing, and you repurpose those skills, and you luck out and you get a good story. I say luck because I don't know what his body of work is. I say luck because I think it was like his first one. And, there is luck out here. Luck isn't your 100th book, but that's a different type of luck. If you write 100 books and the 101 book blows up, that's a different type of luck. Probably is luck too. So there's a little bit of luck, or whatever they call unexplained contributions, unexplained circumstances, whatever. But yeah, man. So the story come up is real. Now, here's my other opinion. Those two story come ups, the long grinded out Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer, kind of any of my products. But, when I look at the people like David Crowson, right? He's got another story out now, no doubt. But because his Harriet Tubman blew up so well, he really was just focusing on that. If you go to his table, sometimes that's all he's got, And I know he's got another story about a young lady in Newark, where he's from, but sometimes I don't think he even has that story with him. It's amazing focus and success. The Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like I said, I don't know his body of work. I have to Google it. But I think he just had that story, right? So when you look at those stories' success, they're grinding it out and they have focused on one thing. There's other people in kind of in my research for my business plan, found other models. And I found, other models that are writers that write a lot of different stories, writing one story and focusing on it only or primarily is just one way, but there's other artists like the guy who has Black Sands. He's got a number of titles, but most of the one we know is Black Sands. That's actually the name of his company, and he's got other stories. So when you go to this table, he's got spin-offs, I think some of them in the same universe, and then you have like Rodney Barnes. Rodney Barnes got Blackula, he's got Philadelphia. Now he's trying to link the two, Blackula and Philadelphia, together, but he also has Monarch, and these are his imprints, his own published works, but he's done other properties. He's written for other things, and he writes in television, he writes in film. So he brings those skills to the table. So I don't know. I'll just say this: from comparing the two, like my man who did Surrogate, whose book blew up before he even really got it out, and then I think he followed it up because I think the comic book sold after, and I think he may have done some spin-off novels. I don't know. I got to look into that. But he got his payday. There was a dude. I gotta Google it. He used to be a librarian here in Broward County. He wrote a robot book, and I don't even think he printed one copy. Somebody read the manuscript that came in the library and gave him 7 figures for it. 7 figures, not 6 figures. 7 figures is like retirement, okay? At least at my age it is. And they blessed him. I don't even know if the story came out. I gotta look. I think it did. I don't think it was RoboCop. I don't know what it was, but they bought his story. And I think what it is people put in so much life experience that they can think of these things that with so much depth and clarity because of their life experience that other people just become so impressed with it. They're like, wow, I could never get writers in the writer's room to create an idea like that, but we can embellish it and polish it up and tell it better than you can, but it's your idea, so we'll pay you for it. That's your IP. So now, what do I say? I don't know. Out of all of those, the discovery overnight or the long grind, as painful and as agonizing as it is, I like the long grind. But I'm a long grinder with variety of products because, when my blow up comes, right, my story blow up, I want to be able to have other stories that, I want it to be Jeff Carroll. That's one of his stories, not he's the writer of, okay? So maybe it's the other way around. But anyway, you tell me what you think, because I've done my 15 minutes of talking, and I'd love to hear what you think. So hit me up, like, subscribe, share this with other people, and then make a comment, all right? I know I always say comment, but man, if I don't get comments, I get comments mostly on Facebook, but make them here on YouTube. All right, peace.